Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Hegemon Road to First Edition publishing vlog. Today we're going to talk all about agents for Hegemon. Essentially, these are the player characters of the game. So I thought it would be fun to create a character with you. So the first thing to do when creating a character in Hegemon for your agent is to divvy up 13 points amongst your 4 attributes. Now, your 4 core attributes are power, mind, reflexes, and luck. You can divvy those 13 points however you see fit, with the exception that you can't put more than 5 points into one single attribute. So I've gone ahead already and placed my attributes here. I have 4 points into power, 3 into mind, 5 into reflexes, and 1 into luck. Now, the reason I did this is I would like to create a class of character or agent called the Canix. So the Canix is essentially a close combat melee type character, and reflexes are very important for that type of class, essentially. So as you can see, I've gone through here and put my attribute scores. I put 4 into power, 3 into mind, 5 into reflexes, and 1 into luck. The second step in creating an agent for Hegemon is then to roll for your armor value and your shield value. So you begin the game with 1d3 armor value. So I got a 3 and 1d6 shield value. 4. The next thing we have to do is pick a class, and like I said, I was looking for the Canix class for this character. So I'll put that in there. Canix is essentially a alien being. It's 6-eyed, 8-limbed, sort of amalgamation between a spider, a scorpion, and sort of something from H.R. Geiger. So that's the agent that I want to play. So I'm sort of a melee person. I have a special ability as a stinger, so I get a free attack if there are enemies adjacent to me in the hexes during combat. And I also have a ability called Seeker, which is essentially a tracking ability where I can track people without having to roll anything. And quickly through the other classes real quick, we have Liquidator, which is sort of a biotic human hybrid that has a massive cannon in its abdomen which can just blast enemies. Then you have a Shock Trooper, sort of your standard soldier type that's sort of well balanced on everything. You have a Spectre, who's sort of a rogue-like character that can use pocket dimensions to go in and out of buildings and access certain areas through espionage and stealth. Then you have a Praetor, who's sort of a military, tactically minded sort of character. Next you have Juggernaut, which is sort of a close combat, just incredibly beefy, tanky sort of class. After that there's Ferex, which is a kind of like an android that has neural net linking capabilities that can hack into different things and interface with certain mechanical instruments and vehicles and other AI type beings. And then you have, last but not least, the Chimera, and the Chimera is sort of a shapeshifter, so you can see how that would be really great when you're trying to infiltrate sort of political structures of a world that you're trying to subjugate in Hegemon. So, for abilities, I'm just going to leave that blank for now. We can reference the character class abilities later. Influence points, we have those set at 0 to begin with. So influence points you gain throughout playing the game. The more influence you have in the world by destabilizing it or perhaps controlling some of the power sectors of a planet, the more influence points you get. On the flip side, the more influence points you have, the more heat you have, the more enemies you've gained, the more the power structures that remain in the world want to hunt and find you and eliminate you. But we'll leave that blank for now. So the next one is bionics. So each agent has 2 slots in the bionics on your character sheet, and you roll randomly for those. So it's a d66. I'm going to have the dark dice be my 10s and the lighter dice be the 1s. So let's roll for bionics here and see what we get. So 12. We have Reaper Blades. So that takes up 1 slot, and it costs 1 AP action points, and it is D3 plus 3 damage, and it's a 1 hex range arc. So essentially, it's a decent extra kind of melee attack I can use during combat if I want to spend a single action point, which is decent. For our second bionic, we rolled 15, so we're all sort of an offensive bionics here, which is 11 through 16 on the results, which makes sense for my character. He's all about close combat. So 15 is Arm Blaster, so that's 1 slot, 2 AP, and that does 1d6 electric damage, which is great. So I'm going to write that down. Arm Blaster, and then I rolled Reaper Blades. Reaper. Great. Next, we will randomly generate our weapon. So, for firearms, each agent gets to roll once, and you roll 2d6 and sum them, and that gives you your type of weapon. So, reroll that. So I rolled 7, so it's a Volt type of weapon. Volt. And then I roll D3 to see the subtype. And that's a 1, so that is a Disruptor. Disrupt. Great. So a Disruptor is essentially you can turn up to 120 degrees for 0 action points before shooting, so that's really good. It gives you a wider range than you would normally have. Next, we roll for the condition of the weapon. Roll a 6, so that's ornate and well crafted. Ornate. Weapon accuracy. Roll for that, and I want to roll low here. Roll a 4, so 3 weapon accuracy. And finally, you roll your damage. And I roll a 5, which is 2d6. Fantastic. Finally, we're going to talk about talents. So each agent gets a chance to roll a talent. So you're going to roll 6d6 and see what you come up with. Okay, so it's 9, that's 13, 15, 16. So consulting the chart, we have 16 as opportunist. Double your agent's damage dealt during the first round of combat. So that sort of represents us, getting into a superior, tactically superior position for our first round, which again sort of lines up with my character. So I'll write that down. Opportunist. Cool. All there's left to do here for a character is name them. So let's put Zelmor Ralgon. This is our Canix kind of apex predator. So that's how you create a character. I'll go into combat and checks and more details on the mechanics as we go into further episodes, but I wanted you to just see how an agent is sort of quickly rolled out. Some choice to it, there's some randomness to it, especially in the weapons and bionics and stuff like that. There's a lot of randomness, and yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that with you, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll have more episodes coming out, hopefully more frequently. I'm currently going back to school to get my master's degree in supply chain management, and so my free time is a little more kind of eaten up than it used to be. But artwork is underway for Hegemon. It's a really good update, and I'm about halfway done editing the Agent's Handbook, which is sort of has a lot of lore for Hegemon, and it goes into the background of all the factions in the universe here, and all the planets and all the histories of this universe. So looking forward to finishing that soon, but it's about 20,000 words, so it's taken me quite a bit of time to edit. But yeah, other than that, I will provide the next update, like I said, hopefully more frequently, and thank you again for watching.